Hi guys, and welcome to our new video today. And this will be like a series where we're ranking different like Batman covers or Spider-Man covers or whatever. Ranking the stories. Now this one is ranking Spider-Man covers from the 60s, from 1962, which is mid Fantasy 15, to 1969. So be like, comment and subscribe. Amazing Fantasy number 15 is the first appearance of Spider-Man, which we all know. And it has Spider-Man on the front cover with him saving a hostage or just a civilian, web slinging, with Amazing Fantasy obviously in the top because the main issue, featuring Spider-Man, and it has Prudence in the background too. Has these two yellow speech bubbles and this one yellow box. Though the world may mock Peter Parker, the timid teenager, it will soon marvel at the awesome might of Spider-Man. And then it says, also in this issue, an important message to you from the editor about the new Amazing Spider-Man, which is talking about obviously the standalone series that they made. It's a very iconic cover because of the first appearance of Spider-Man. I think, in my opinion, it's not the best cover out of all of them. It's a decent cover. I would give it about, I don't know, about 5 out of 10. I think I'll go for 5 out of 10. So let's get on to Amazing Spider-Man number 1. So the Amazing Spider-Man 1 is the first appearance of Chameleon, which is the first ever Spider-Man villain. And on this cover, it shows the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man stuck in a containment cell. It looks like that the Fantastic Four's trapped them in. It says the Amazing Spider-Man in big red letters. Number 1 came out in March, and it says at the bottom, extra added attention, Spider-Man the Fantastic Four adds The Chameleon Strikes, which I think is the title of The Chameleon Strikes. It says 2 great feature-length Spider-Man thrillers into a mass in a green bubble. Then it says the Fantastic Four. Then he says the Fantastic Four thinks I'm trapped, but they don't suspect my real power. I like this one because it's very open. It introduces Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four and how their bond is at first. I never realised that the Chameleon was the very first comic villain in this issue, in the actual Spider-Man franchise. You wouldn't think so because he's not that heavily in other ones, like as popular. But I mean, this one's alright, like the last one. I would say bump it up a little bit more because I like the action in it more. 6 out of 10. Shows more action, shows that it's going to be more of a breath of fresh air. And yeah, let's get on to number 2, The Amazing Spider-Man issue 2. So this is issue 2 of The Amazing Spider-Man. So this shows the Vulture and Spider-Man. Well, basically Spider-Man's fallen because the Vulture's just picked him up and is now dropping him. So he's fallen, so that makes more dramatic, which I do like that scene. There is a little right-hand box corner showing Spider-Man getting hit by like a ray gun or something from the Tinkerer. This is the first appearance of the Vulture and the Tinkerer. And there's a little text on the sides, like 2, as in like the stories. And it says like, featuring the Vulture and Spider-Man is trapped by the terrible Tinkerer. This came out in May. It says 2 great new Spider-Man thrillers, 2 new great supervillains, which we find out later on that the Tinkerer isn't that popular as the Vulture is. However, I do like the mood and scenery, how it's black and white with a red background. I think this one is a 7 out of 10. Just because it looks a little bit better, a little bit nicer for me. I find a bit more. So let's get on to Amazing Spider-Man number 3. Now this one is the first appearance of Doc Ock, and it's such a good cover. I think this is one of the best covers out of the 70 odd issues that we are showing this video. And I love how Dr. Octopus is holding Spider-Man with his tentacles, and I love how there's a shadow like halfway through Dr. Octopus show the dark and light bits. Yeah, it's a green uniform on, but then half of it's shaded. And I love how the metal arms are coming through and tangling Spider-Man. You can see Spider-Man has got there's like a webbing in it near his arms, which he used to do in like the 60s. He doesn't have them now. And I love the bottom has a red question mark. It says like America's most exciting superhero, captured by the world's deadliest supervillain. You are helpless, Spider-Man. I warned you that the power of Dr. Octopus was far greater than yours. That's what he says. And then it says at the bottom, a book, listen, super thriller. Spider-Man faces his most powerful foe, Dr. Octopus, which he is one of the most popular foes, which people say is one of his most arch enemies with Green Goblin. It says, can Spider-Man defeat the sinister Dr. Octopus with a small question mark? I do like this one a bit more. I think I got to put this as an 8 or a 9, but this is definitely better than the other 3. So let's get to Main Spider-Man number 4. Now, issue 4 is definitely different compared to the other covers. Issue 4 cover is like more like a comic panel based, as you can see, where it starts with Spider-Man going to fight Sandman, and he can't grab him, and then he punches them, and he finds out it's got sand, and then Spider-Man's getting suffocated by Sandman. It says, nothing can stop the Sandman. Now can Spider-Man defeat a foe who cannot be injured? This one is a very unique one. I don't know, I think it's not as good as the Dr. Octopus one in my opinion. I think it's a 7 out of 10. Just because it doesn't feel as iconic. It's obviously not an iconic cover. How it's different though ranks it up a lot. Because I love how they've changed it from not being just one big picture and then a little square box to 4 individual little square boxes. But it's like a literal comic, like what would be inside the comic. With 4 different panels instead of it just being one big cover. So I do really like this cover. It does show colours. First appearance of Sandman. You're going to hear lots of first appearances, but an overall superb cover. Let's go on to Amazing Spider-Man number 5. Issue 5 is the first appearance of Doctor Doom in a Spider-Man comic. I don't think it's the first appearance of Doctor Doom in general, in a whole. So it has textbooks that says, it had to happen sooner or later. Spider-Man would bound to battle Doctor Doom. And then Doom says, this is your finish, Spider-Man. If the Fantastic Four themselves could not stop me, what chance have you got? And he's shooting a yellow beam onto the floor, and you can tell it's like fire. It's all loads of machinery. I think there's a trapdoor below Spider-Man, with electrical flames, electrical sockets like wires get lightning and everything sparking off, with Spider-Man's wire being cut. So it has danger. It cuts you right in going, oh, I want to read it now. Many of the covers, I would say, from the earlies are more like cuts you in like you want to be in than some of the... I do think this is a weak one. It's not weaker than number 1, in my opinion. It's still weak. I would say 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10, I would say. Yeah, 6 out of 10. It's a nice cover. However, it doesn't feel to me as in like a good cover, just an alright cover. So, yeah, let's go on to issue 6. Now, issue 6 is a very simple cover, where Spider-Man's fallen, it looks like, off a tunnel, like in a large tunnel, and the lizard is crawling on all 4s. I love the lizard's like purple gown thing, which he doesn't have, I think, after this issue. He has like a white lab coat instead. And his design's obviously is different because it's the first appearance of the lizard and first time he's actually drawn. It says, half man, half reptile. The lizard will take over all of Earth unless Spider-Man alone can stop him. The Marvel Age of Comics is here. It's got a pink Main Spider-Man logo. I think it's a decent cover. I wouldn't say it's a bad cover, but I do give it a 5 out of 10. It's simple enough, but it just doesn't draw me in as others covers do. So it's a 5 out of 10, definitely. So it's a halfway point, like Miz Fantasy 15. There's not a lot you can talk about this cover. It's literally like as you see what it is. Um, you've got the webbing on the top, like every other Vince McMahon issue has. His Stu Corbin is red and blue costume. It came out in November. Yeah, not that much to say about this cover, so let's get on to Amazing Spider-Man number 7. Amazing Spider-Man number 7 has a not first appearance. This is one of the only times it hasn't. I think this is the first time it's not a first appearance, but the first return of the Vulture. As it says, the Vulture's return. This one, I think this is one of the worst covers. I'll give it a 3 out of 10. It just doesn't feel like, it just doesn't go with me. Like, I wouldn't pick it up just for that. Like, the only thing that could draw me in again is the Vulture's return. Like it says, here is Spider-Man as you like him, fighting, joking, daring, challenging the most dangerous of foes of all in the Marvel Age of Comics. And there's a speech bubble that says, the Vulture looks too sure of himself. He must have a foolproof plan to defeat me, but what can it be? Like, tries to draw you in a bit more, but in that cover, I think it's a bit too plain. Like, not that much going on. I think it's too simple. So it's the issue 7 that's come out in December, so it's the last one of the year 1963. So, first year Spider-Man's 1 to 7 issues. It's not, I think it's definitely the worst of the year. So let's go on to 1964 with issue 8 of The Amazing Spider-Man. Issue 8, which has Spider-Man, Human Torch in the front. It's a very odd issue. Odd cover, I mean. Like, there's not that much going on, but there's much going on at the same time. So you've got Spider-Man fighting a robot, and then you've got Spider-Man wrestling with Human Torch, I think it is. Oh no, Flash Thompson. This Peter Parker fights with Flash Thompson. Spider-Man tackles the Human Torch. So this is the first time that you have a real rivalry. Spider-Man and Human Torch, or Peter Parker and Johnny. Special tribute to teenage issue. It doesn't draw me in like the other one does. Like I think it's a good 4 out of 10. I like the other one like a 4 out of 10. It doesn't like it doesn't want me like want the issue, but it doesn't want me to say I'll just grab it just because it says issue 8 on it. It's a very bland issue in my opinion. There's not that much going on, but there is that much going on that it just confuses me a bit more than anything else. The only thing that interests me on this cover is Peter Parker fighting Flash Thompson, like wrestling, which I don't think might have happened in the issue. But I mean, what probably made viewers, readers want to pick up the comic is mainly because of the Human Torch, because it's the first time I think they both fight, and it might be also the first time they team up at the same time. But not that much for me. I don't think it's as interesting. So let's go on to Amazing Spider-Man number 9. This cover has to be one of the best covers the Amazing Spider-Man team have actually done. This one is for me a 10 out of 10. One of my favourite covers of all time. This is the introduction and first appearance of Electro, and it has so much going on, but not that much going on at the same time, this hooks me in. First thing that hooks me in, Spider-Man tries to touch Electro, he gets shocked, and then he just gets, so it looks like he's fried, and he's just on the floor while Electro's walking away. That does feel like, oh no, what is he going to do? How can he beat a person with electricity as a power? It actually does look straight on. Definitely, I want to pick it up. If it was there in 1964 and I saw it, definitely pick it up just because I want to know what actually happens in the issue, because it looks like unstoppable. It says, in this great issue, you will meet Electro, a menace so powerful that Spider-Man's strength is useless against him, and that just draws you in a bit more. Most original superhero of all time. That just like describes Spider-Man, and then it says a book length comic colossal, proving again that this is indeed the Marvel Age of Comics, a scene you would never forget. See the defeat of Spider-Man, and with Spider-Man laying on the floor, that does make you think, is this it? Is this the end? I love the colours and how it contrasts. But in my opinion, that is a 10 out of 10 cover. That is one of the best covers, in my opinion, on this list, definitely. Of all time, too. It's like one of, like, 20 best of all time. But I mean, fabulous cover, beautiful artwork. Let's get on to number 10. Number 10, which is the introduction of the Enforcers. It's very bland. I don't like the colour. It's a bit ugly, with the ugly green in the background. It shows the Enforcers, and I think that's supposed to be the Master Planner, or whatever he's called. I can't remember what he's called. I don't know. And Spider-Man swinging to face them. It says, in this issue, learn how J. Jonah Jameson really hates Spider-Man, which does bring me in a little bit more, saying, why does he hate Spider-Man? He's hated him since Amazing Spider-Man #1. But, I mean, I wouldn't pick it up. I think this is the worst, one of the worst covers. It's definitely a 1 out of 10. Like, it's so simple, I don't want to pick it up. It's not like, but I understand how people think, oh, it's simple, doesn't do that much going on, that's good. But for me, I like a bit of action in my covers. This cover does not draw me in whatsoever. Only like one bit of text draws me in. But I probably wouldn't pick it up. Like, it's not essential like the last one. Issue 9 was essential for me to pick up. But this one doesn't feel essential for me. Like, doesn't draw me in. So, very bland, this one. So, let's get to number 11. Now, this cover, issue 11 of Spider-Man, is the return of Dr. Octopus, the long-awaited return of Dr. Octopus, because fans were demanding it. It's a turning point, another spectacular smash hit from the House of Ideas, which is talking about Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. This one does draw me in. I think these two issues are the bit where Betty Brant's brother dies or something like that. I can't remember. Because it does look like it's on a ship, and it does die on a ship, or it does go missing on a ship. But I mean, in general, it's a standout cover. I would buy it. It's a 6 out of 10. Like, it's so simple, I want to pick it up anywhere. You've got the red, you've got the blue, you've got the yellow, you've got the green, and you've got the metallic colour as well in there. You've got the dark and light which mix. But it's a really good cover. I really enjoy the look of the cover. And it's the return of a very fan favourite character back then, which, well, it still is now, which is Dr. Octopus. So, yeah. Let's get to issue number 12. If number 11's a 7, this one's a 9. Just by this definitely pulls me in a bit more. You can tell this is probably a 2-parter. So it says, look who's back, just shows Dr. Octopus. And then it says, not a dream, not an imaginary tale. You gasp at amazement when Peter is unmasked by Dr. Octopus. And what draws me in more than just like the unmasked of Peter Parker getting unmasked by Dr. Octopus is that you can see there's Betty Brant and you've got J. Jonah Jameson there, and them two are very crucial in his life at this point. So it draws you in a lot more, and that he's still a criminal, or a menace, which is like a criminal, to the police, and the police are there. So you're like, who's going to get arrested? Is it Peter Parker? And he's going to lose his job. He's got no money. He's going to find out. He'll get hunted by other villains. And then you've got Dr. Octopus. He's probably successful with that. You can get all the villains to kill him. Like, it's more of a problem for Peter than Dr. Octopus. If Dr. Octopus goes in jail after Spider-Man gets unmasked, then you've got danger for his aunt, danger for everyone he loves, danger from just anyone who knows him in general. So, and amount of publicity he gets, like he did in Spider-Man No Way Home. This does want me to read it. Like, I really want to read it, see what happens, see if he's actually truly going to get unmasked, because most of these are like propaganda, like this does happen, but it doesn't happen in that type of way as it shows on the cover. It just like tries to draw people in as much as possible. But this one's a very good cover. This one's definitely an 8 out of 10. So let's go to issue 30. Now, this issue is the first appearance of Mysterio. And in my opinion, Mysterio is one of the one of my favourite characters in the whole Spider-Man franchise, as in villains category. No, characters in a whole. I really enjoy Mysterio, and this shows how he goes up against the Master of Illusions. Says, "We've done it. We've created the greatest villain of all for Spidey, Mysterio. Who or what is he?" Because it gives you more of a draw. For Mysterio, he's more of a mysterious character, like, because he's got a mask on. Like every other character I think we've had except for the Master Planner up to now has not had a mask on. Oh, except Chameleon. Like two out of how many villains up to now? This is like the third villain which has a mask or like something to cover up his face. There's, what's this? Spider-Man turned into crime. That's a reference to him. It's Spider-Man #1. And ever since a comic mag superhero takes his troubles to a therapist, you will now. Like, but I mean, because he's mostly illusions, you go like, is that Spider-Man? Is that real? This draws me in, but not as much. I would say a 5 out of 10. It's a good average. Good average, 5 out of 10. I love the smoke and how he's trying to web Mysterio. Mysterio's like, get back. And he's like, with his hand, and you can tell that he's going to go away. And it's like, oh, all these, and you're like, oh, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. Is this going to happen? No, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? I just really I like this cover. It's an average cover. It doesn't impress me that much, but I would still read it if I see this cover. So, yeah. Issue 14 as the first appearance of one of the most iconic, most powerful, most evil villains Spider-Man has ever faced. And that is obviously the Green Goblin. Like, this is not just a man in a suit. We don't know who he is. And this is the first time, this is the very first time we do not find out who the villain's identity is. I think with Mysterio we do find out at the end, but this we do not. He actually escapes in this issue. It also has the Enforcers in it, and it has the Hulk, which I think this is the first appearance of the Hulk in Spider-Man continuity. This is guest starring none other than the Incredible Hulk. This is something to do with like a movie set, I think. If I remember. But you just get away, so it just gives you a sense of mystery. This cover particularly draws me in with the Hulk and how there's returning foes and family return allies, and then makes it foes actually deal with it, and it doesn't draw me in that much. Like, it's not. I think this is one of the weakest Green Goblin covers we've had, but I mean, I would say it's one of the worst. I would give it a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 is my final one because it does draw me in, but I think I should have drawn me in a little bit more. It could have said different other pictures, but it draws me in a good more because it brings back the Enforcers. You go, why are the Enforcers back? Who is this mysterious figure, the Green Goblin? Why is the Hulk in this? Why is he in a cave? This is what all we have to need, the answers we need. I'm like, we want more. We need the answers. We need to know what it is. So that's why you would open the comic with all the green panels. Like, does the Green Goblin look cute to you? Does he make you want to smile? Well, forget it. He's the most sinister, most dangerous foe Spidey has ever fought. And that is not lying. So, as I say, 6 out of 10 cover. Decent cover. This one, I don't know why I like it so much. It's a 9 out of 10. I like this one so much. I think just the colours contrast, like with it being, I think it's in Central Park, the cover's supposed to be. First appearance of Kraven the Hunter. Return of the first ever super villain Spider-Man's ever faced, the Chameleon. And I like how they're both related somehow. With this one, you can tell Spider-Man's distressed because I think this is the first time we have a... Oh, no, it isn't, because we've just done the last one, haven't we? A multi-villain story. This is the second time multi-villain story. And I love how Spidey's trapped like an animal in like a net. And Kraven the Hunter is obviously a hunter. So he's probably caught him, and it's like, what is he going to do with him? It's in Central Park, which is, I think, is a fitting setting for like a trying to hunt animals or hunt something. And just thinks of hunting a human um, is just so dark, and like Craven the Hunter's a very popular character. This is one of the best covers he's in. Obviously, this is not dark. This is too campy because it's the 60s. But this is a really good cover. I really enjoy the cover. I love how it says special guest star as Chameleon with like his little face and did a sinister smile. It's the Chameleon with circle. I like that addition that they do with the cover. So, really enjoy the cover. Captivated cover. I really would want to read it. So let's go on to the next one. Now this issue is issue 16, which is the first appearance of the Ringmaster in the Spiderman comics, but that's not the significant part of it. The significant part of it is that it's the first appearance of Daredevil, and Daredevil's different because he's supposed to have a red suit on, but instead it's yellow and black. So it's a bit weird. He's still got his... No, he hasn't actually. I've just looked. He's got a... He doesn't have his red things, doesn't he? He has like a red candy corn cane or something. And I think he's supposed to be an acrobatic. He's an acrobatic now. But he becomes a superhero later on. But he's an acrobatic now. And I think he's getting controlled by the Ringmaster, who is the new villain in this issue. He's not a very popular villain. Some people might not even know who he is. Like he uses his hat to like mind control people to do his bidding. He's been in a few Spider-Man issues, but he's not as popular. He's not very popular. He's very an obscure character in the Spider-Man franchise. The main Spider-Man, Spidey battles Daredevil, featuring the Ringmaster. Warning: if you don't say this, if you don't say this on one of the greatest issues we've ever read, we may never talk to you again. Which is a bit, obviously it's a joke, but like, we'll never talk to you again. You think this is not one of the greatest issues? Like, it's trying to introduce someone that gets introduced as a hero later on. But I mean, a gripping cover, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Not like a great cover, but it's one that gets me in. So like wants me to read it a little bit. So 6 out of 10. So issue 17. So this is the return of the Green Goblin, which never got caught in the first place. So he appears, and it guest stars the Human Torch again. So the Human Torch is very popular in the Spider-Man franchise very early. Like, he does make a lot of appearances in the 60s, and then you barely see him like in the 80s to 2000s. So yeah, he doesn't have he only has a prominent part in like the first 7-8 years of Spider-Man's career. Like, as like he's one of the only guests, like superheroes. So it sees that you can see that it's not that much of like a speech bubble issue where there's loads of speech bubbles everywhere and loads of text. It's mainly more of a look than talk one. There is some more encourageable text bubbles anyway, like the return of the Green Goblin and what return it is, and then just guest star and the Human Torch. They're the only ones there is. You've got J. Jonah Jameson, Betty Brant, and the public below Spider-Man, the Human Torch, and Green Goblin. So it looks like Green Goblin's fighting Spider-Man, but then Human Torch is evading both of their bullets or whatever they've got. The webbing and whatever Green Goblin has, it looks like pebbles, and it's going through him somehow. So like, we're going like, is he going to get hurt? Why is the Human Torch in it? I would say it's a 4 out of 10. It doesn't pique my interest. 4 out of 10. I love the Green Goblin because that's his most iconic suit. I forgot to mention its most iconic suit is green and purple, and he's got his man bag with him. But I mean, it doesn't grip me in that much, so I'll give a 4 out of 10. So this is issue 18. Issue 18 has another return, which is Sandman. So these issues are starting now without first appearances, are starting with return of these characters now. So the first like 10 issues, 10 to 15 issues, not like, yeah, about 10 issues were more like first appearances, and the rest are now like return of the... So this one's it says it's the end of Spider-Man. Why does Spidey cringe in helpless fear as the evil Sandman stalks the city's streets? Be prepared for countless surprises in the great dramatic city boot issue. You've got Sandman toppling cars, trying to attack the general public. Spider-Man is hiding for some reason. You wouldn't think that. Well, why is he cowardly? Is he turned homeless because of the can? It's a very strange. It's a very odd cover in my opinion. Like you wouldn't expect it to go that way a little bit. Like why would they make Spider-Man look a bit bad, as in like a bit weak compared to Sandman? Like, isn't it more easy to draw people in if Spider-Man's fighting and being strong? But I mean, I like the sense of like it looks like something like you would see in a movie where it's like the camera, where the camera's shot, and it like mirrors both of them, how one's strong and one's weak, or one's powerful and one's unarmed. So it's not a bad cover. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. A 4 out of 10. Yeah. I don't know what else I could describe about it. Like you got the dark buildings, silhouettes, but I mean it's mainly the main focus is on Spider-Man and Sandman. So yeah, because of the bright colours and the car. Number 19 is another very different cover you wouldn't expect, because it's got Spidey in the middle. We're doing his pose that you might see in the 60s show. If you ever watched that, I watched it as a kid. And webbing literally all the cover with three little pictures. One showing Johnny Storm, one showing Human Torch, one showing Sandman, and one showing the Enforcers. So it's more of a guest star issue. It says an adventure epic on most compelling excellence, Spidey Strikes Back. I think this is a continuation from issue 18 because it has Sandman back in it. Most of these early issues are continuations, but they don't really say it's continuations. But I mean, 5 out of 10. This is average. Don't know what to say about this cover. It makes me it feels like a 3D cover because it looks like Spider-Man's coming towards the reader. Like it's putting your focus on Spider-Man mainly because you're going, what is he doing? Why is he swinging towards the page? It's a decent cover, but I wouldn't make it higher than a 5 because it doesn't show emotion, or like doesn't make me like feel engaged or anything. It's just there, being unique, stands out a little. And you're just like questioning. But I mean, that's 1964, so let's get to 1965 with issue number 20. Issue 20 is a big one for Scorpion fans because this is the first appearance of Scorpion, as you can tell. It has Spider-Man being lifted up by Scorpion, and it looks like Scorpion's going to throw him off the building. Very simple cover. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I love the Amazing Spider-Man logo now because it's more of a red and blue. The rest were usually yellow, pink, or red. I do like the blue and red more because it does fit into Spider-Man's actual outfit. It says, how can Spidey battle a foe who is stronger than he is? You're about to meet our newest Marvel villain, the Scorpion. This villain's a very different one than some others because this one's like the purpose was made to fight Spider-Man. So the Scorpion, it's a very silly look than what he is later on, where he's got like technical suits on and he's got a very sharp tail. It looks like a very blunt one. It doesn't even look like there's a stinger. I don't think there's a sting on it, but I mean, it looks like Spidey's helpless. I would have grabbed it. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10 because I would have grabbed it just for the appearance. Going, who is the Scorpion? I'll have that first appearance for the new year. Of 1965, so I thought, why not? I would pick it up. It does intrigue my interest, going, who is Scorpion? But I mean, I think the story is better than the cover in this one, but we're not ranking the stories, we'll rank the stories later. But I mean, this is mainly just the covers. So as I say, it's about 6 out of 10. Let's go on to number 21. 21, I think, is the first appearance of the Beetle. And also guest star, as you can see, and as you probably all think, the Human Torch. Yeah, the Human Torch is in so many issues in Spider-Man. Yeah, doesn't give you that much. It goes, who's the Beetle? why they're both fighting Spider-Man. This one's a very action-packed, simple one. I'll give it another 6 out of 10. No, actually, a 3 out of 10. I don't really like it that much. It's too bland for me. Like the white background. We've known Human Torch again. It gets a bit repetitive. And who is this mysterious figure who's got suckers for hands? Which you can tell it's probably just it's literally just a guy in a costume with suckers on his hand. So, not that much for me. Doesn't go pop out for me. I would have missed it in stores if I didn't look for the main Spider-Man comics if I was a kid in 1965 and I wasn't looking for the main Spider-Man comics, I went to my local news agents. I saw this, I wouldn't pick it up because it's not my cover, not a cover I would have bought. I would have missed it because I went Human Torch, yeah, but we've already had Human Torch. If it was someone else, if it was the Hulk or someone else, I might have gone, yeah, because we haven't seen them in a Spider-Man comic, or we've only seen them once. But I mean, Human Torch, we've seen it so many times, it just get a bit repetitive. So this one is a 3 out of 10. I like this one a lot better. This is another, I think this is one of the Ringmasters, but before the Ringmaster, because it says battles new villains, new surprises. Spidey battles the Clown, God Hill Masters of Menace. So I think these are the villains that later on in the comics, not Taskmaster. What is it called? Forgot what it's called now. The Ringmaster, that's it. The Ringmaster recruits later on. So the cover's nice. I really like it. I think it's a 7 out of 10. I love the shadow of whatever this is. It looks like you would expect to be Spider-Man, but the silhouette does not look like a Spider-Man. And I love his spider belt because I think it's the first time he has this spider radar belt. So I love the colours matching and the blue. It's very simple, but it's a very nice cover in general. It's he's a Luminor. He's not a Luminor. He's standing over them, he's like a shadow, like someone you don't want to mess with. So this is a decent cover. I love the colours. The dark and lights do mix, but yeah, decent cover. About 7 out of 10. I would say about 7 out of 10. 6 or 7. Can't make my mind up. Now, issue 23 is a decent cover enough. I think it's effective for what it's supposed to do. So I have Green Goblin, and he's throwing pumpkin bombs at Spider-Man while Spider-Man's using his weapon and to hold onto a pole. It looks like. It says the Goblin and the Gangsters, which I do like the alliteration in it. It's more black and white with a few colours in it for the characters to show that they're popping out. I wouldn't say average. I would say, because I gave Mid Fancy 15, and I didn't have that much good colours, about 5 or 6. I'm gonna give this about a 3. A 3 out of 10, I would say, for issue 23 of the Amazing Spider-Man. It's got its fair share of colours, but I do think it's a bit bland for what it is. And it doesn't pull me in as some others do. So issue 23 is a 3 out of 10. Issue 24 is a very good one. I actually really like this one. I think I'll look at it now. It's a 8 out of 10. So it shows Sandman and it shows Vulture, 2 villains that we already know from Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. But it looks like there might be a simulation sort of. They're not real. And Spider-Man doesn't understand it. Spider-Man's got his head in his hand, something's wrong, or his head's hurting, he doesn't understand what's going on. And it looks like the room's all upside down, which is a nice element that we don't know. This is Spider-Man gone mad, this shocking thing. Star Mystery Trail in the mighty Marvel tradition. And it has something to do with the reader, and it shows a guy standing on the ceiling with tables. So it's what's happening here? Why is the room like this? Why is it all different colours? It's a house. Why is it upside down? Why is the villains that look like the ghosts? Like, it's so odd, but stands out, especially the logo of blue and dark blue and red. I really like the contrasting colours. I think this one is a 7 or 8 out of 10. I'll find out, but I think, in my opinion, now it's an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for issue 24 that came out in May. Let's get to issue 25. Issue 25, in my opinion, stands out a lot because it's first appearance of, I think, the Spider Slayer, whatever he's called. I can't remember what he's called. Where he's built this machine for J. Jonah Jameson, where he can capture Spider-Man himself. I think it's the first page of Alistair Smythe. The Spider something. I can't remember. Where he has different robots. This one's the first robot, which is like a small person sort of, but it has like tentacles, and J. Jonah Jameson's the one who's controlling it. And by seeing the color, it shows that Spider-Man is tangled in like a metal thing. I don't know what it is, and Spider-Man's trying to web the robot, but it's like solidifying off it, so it's like always in danger. How did J. Jonah Jameson get the suit? This really like gets on me, like, oh, I really want this cover. It's all the yellow in the background. It's captured by J. Jonah Jameson. And I think, honestly, this is a 9 out of 10. This is one of the best covers we've had so far. So, yeah, 9 out of 10 for issue 25. It's a really, really good cover. I really enjoy it. And the story seems interesting in this, but we're only rating the covers. So for this one, it's about a 9 out of 10. Issue 26, which has got the Green Goblin, and it's got the Crime Master, which I think he becomes the Master Planner or something later on in the years, but now it looks like it's the Crime Master. So they're both return villains, but I think this is the first appearance of him wearing the mask, like a different, like the more well-known mask. Shows Spider-Man on some skyscrapers. Well, the skyscrapers in the background, and Spider-Man's on one, and he's just about to fall with the Crime Master, looks like gassing him with something, and it's blocking him, while the Green Goblin is on his glider and like really happy, going, get in. He's getting attacked, get in. But I mean, and it has the Crime Master attacking Spider-Man, and it's a blue background, and it just does like one piece caption. It's very simple, but I think it's very effective at what it does. And 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10, I would say, is a good possibility. 6 out of 10 for this one. For issue 27, it's got the Green Goblin, and it shows Spider-Man with full of gangs, and Spider-Man's chained up, so it looks like he's powerless. He's got enough. You can't. I don't know how he can get save the day. All the gangs. It looks like the master plan's also there, so it looks like this might be a 2-part story. It might be a 3-part because the next issue might be there. But I don't think it's as good as the other one is. You've got the Green Goblin to do there. Say happy. I would say, if this cover says "Bring back the Goblin," bring back my Goblin to me. I think that's like what the title will be called. But I mean, it's got blue background. I would say 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10, I would say. Next issue is issue 28, which is, I think, the first appearance of the Molten Man. I love how dark it is, because I think it's one of the first times it's not a bright cover, but it's all dark instead. So what we have is that it looks like, in a black light, you got Spider-Man, but his suit's black, but the red does stand out. Like it's in the dark, and then you just see a golden man, which reminds me of Flint Marko, the Golden Man, because he looks a bit like Sandman, but he's called the Molten Man. He looks like he's made of gold, and he's a new menace, so it's the new first appearance. And it also shows like it's also a landmark issue because Peter Parker's graduation. I love the colours of green and the cobweb in the weapon, and then all black at the end. And I think this is a very good like symbolisation. I would say 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for this cover. Yeah, a good 8 out of 10 for the Molten Man. 8 out of 10. For issue 29, it looks like he brings back the Scorpion, and they're in water. Spider-Man's drowning, and Scorpion's trying to kill him with his sharp tail, And I just like how the water's like splashing up. It's a blue background. It says never stop on a scorpion. Never step on a scorpion. I mean, never stop. Never step on a scorpion. So like, wherever you do, wherever you go, never stop on a scorpion. It looks like scorpions in a scuba diver mask. Salt and water. It's not like that like stand out of a cover, but I mean it's there, so it's like, oh, help. I would say 5 out of 10. I would say it's an average 5 out of 10. So issue 30 is from November, and this one shows it looks like a guy on a rope, and I think he's whacked this water tower, and this water tower's got full of water, and it's gonna splash all over Spider-Man, and it's gonna kill him. And this one, I like the yellow lights in it as the police cars, because back in like the 60s, that's what they had like for shows, was that cars had like yellow lights, or like that's what like a flashlight or something that looked like. But I mean, I like the yellow and blackish white tint, like merging them together. It says the claws of the cat, which he's not a well-known villain because I've never heard of him. So he's probably this only appearance. It shows danger. It shows what's going to happen next. It interests me a little, but I would say it's a 4 out of 10. It's not impressive, in my opinion, as much. So 4 out of 10 for the Amazing Spider-Man number 30. It's got most yellow, but I'd say 4 out of 10. Issue 31 is a very important issue in the Spider-Man lore, but as a cover in general, it's a decent cover. It's got like these like people that looks like they're going underwater. Spider-Man's emblem is like showing like 6 scenes from the story, like 6 pictures, and Spider-Man's head in the middle. It says, "Decide to you, the new great Marvel breed of reader." It's if this be my destiny. I think it's going to be the title. Come December, I think this is the first appearance of Gwen Stacy. It looks like they'll probably like try and find Trez or something, but it's a good one. It's a 7 out of 10. It's a decent colour, all red in the background. I like Spider-Man's face in the middle. I do like those little scenes being cut out like spiders. But I mean, in this overall cover, with Spider-Man caught in a net in one of them, showing that he's in peril, it's a really decent cover. 6 out of 10. Now, this one is the Amazing Spider-Man issue 32. And on this cover, it shows Spider-Man lifting like metal stairs or something. I think he's really angry because it shows Aunt May on like her deathbed. It says, with his Aunt May gravely ill in the hospital, Spider-Man fights as never before, because he's probably got all the emotions with Man on a Rampage. So this like shows more of like Peter's how angry he can get if anyone's in trouble, like Aunt May or anyone. So this more shows like the Incredible Hulk or something like that. You would think the Incredible Hulk would do with like people running away. But I mean, it's a very impactful one. I love Man on a Rampage. Issue 32. 7 out of 10. I'll say 7 out of 10 because it's just how it shows a lot already about the story, but not that much like intrigues me. Where like you can see the brave premise they're going with, but it's not fully there. So 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Issue 33 is a very famous cover. People really like this cover. It is the final chapter. It's got Spider-Man under heavy debris, and it looks like it's going to flood too. So it looks like Spider-Man's in peril. You're like, oh, is this the final one? Is this the final issue? This is the last appearance of the Amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Man going to die in this one. It does get readers in it. It just grabbed me. I would say it's a really good cover for like grabbing the audience's attention. I don't think it's as good as some others, which I ranked higher, like the Electro one. But I mean, this does show Spider-Man in peril a lot more, and this shows more action. But like, you don't know how he got into that predicament. You don't know, on this cover, you don't know how he's going to get out of the predicament. You don't know who's behind it all, or was it his own doing by accident? Like, it gives you so many questions you're pondering about, and you don't even know any of the answers. That's why people would grab this, just because of that cover. It's so simple, but so it tells so many questions, and you want the answers to those questions, just buy this cover. So number 33, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10, definitely. In issue 34, Craven the Hunter returns. So in this one, it says the thrill of the hunt. So this is Craven Hunter's return. It looks like he's going to pounce on Spider-Man. Spider-Man's unaware of everything. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? All the buildings. Yeah, so in this bit, I think it's a bit bland. Give it a 4 out of 10. It doesn't impact me as much as some others with like just says the thrill of the hunt. But I mean, Return of Craven the Hunter is nice, but it doesn't throw me in like I want that cover. I want I want that cover framed. I don't think so. So that's issue 34. Issue 35, Molten Man returns, and I do like this because it's more of a cartoony approach to this cover than anything else, because it's got these cartoon colours, it's all these bright colours, you've got these green things. It's a bit of an unusual cover because like you can't explain really what's in the cover except Spider-Man's going to fight Molten Man again and they're both going to clash. But that is really it. You got Return of Molten Man, which so this is a second appearance. I don't enjoy the character in my opinion, but it's like a decent one, but I wouldn't like think it's a good character. I just think it's a decent one. But I mean, in this cover, it's so simple, but it tells a lot. So 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. So this one is issue 36, and in 36 it says When Falls the Meteor. It says Spidey as you like him, in college, in trouble, in action, action, action. Gives you a big one. Who's this guy? Why is there like these planets or whatever orbs coming? Fire. Spider-Man's gonna fight him, but he's punched him in the face already, so it gives him more of an action feel, more of a spacey action. I would say semi-decent cover. It's simple but effective. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 for issue 36 of Amazing Spider-Man. 37 is a very unique cover. So it's got this mad, bald scientist guy with his with like a grey like mechanical eye or some sort, like on his right eye. But then it shows two like different pathways or two different scenes. So panels. So one bit is Spider-Man getting taken on by this not robot, this like alien thing, which is Once Upon a Time on the top. And then the second one, he's like fighting a robot, and Spider-Man's dodging his laser blasts and says there was a robot. So it's a very unusual cover, but I do love the unusualness in this. Issue 37, I got to give it a 9 out of 10. It's so simple but so odd at the same time. It really gets me going. I want that cover just because of how weird and odd it is. With the black background, and you got the flames in like both panels. It's very good, very good. Issue 38, in my opinion, is a cover which has got too much going on to be good. So it's got, he is Spidey at his fighting best, just a guy named Joe. With Spider-Man, it looks like he's dead or something like that, jumping into the off the cover, while beneath it says, as a red arrow that says, just what you'll see, the offbeat supervillain star in his ish. He's the prize pussycat of the year. And it has 3 little panels of like action, with one of them being, I think, the villain like trying to hit Spidey, but Spidey dodges it. Another one where Spidey hits these 2 people that's off panel, and another one's where Spidey comes in when it looks like he's trying to torment or aggravate the public. But issue 38, it's a 3 out of 10 because it's got too much going that it's not enough. It should be a bit simpler. Like, I don't like this just because it's got a white background, 3 little panels. But I mean, it's not like there's so much going on, but there's also not that much going on, which it just doesn't go. I don't want it. So 3 out of 10. Yeah. So issue 39 is a 9 out of 10. I love this cover. It shows Green Goblin on his glider, and he's got a rope, and he's captured Spider-Man, which you can see that he's been unmasked, and it's Peter Parker to Spidey and the Green Goblin, unmasked, because it's the first time Green Goblin gets revealed to be Norman Osborn in this issue for like the last panel. I really like this story. I love this issue, but I love the cover at the same time. So it's a great story, and it's got a great cover, and it shows a lot, and it like carries you in. Like, I want that cover, and I need to read it. Why is Spider-Man unmasked? Who is the Green Goblin? We don't know who the Green Goblin is. But I mean, I love the Green Goblin's design from the old ones, with his purple and green, and I just love how you can see um there's flames coming out, and there's gas coming out of the glider, and it's from up in New York City in the air. I just love how simple it is, but effective at the same time. That's why it's a 9 out of 10 for me. Now, issue 40 is another superb cover. It shows Spider-Man over the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin's defeated. He's on his hands and knees. Fire is all behind Spider-Man. Spider-Man's victorious. He's a bit angry, he looks like. It's a superb cover. I don't think it's as good as issue 39, which was the last issue. This is the second part of the story. I do love the flames, the colour in it, how you see that the glide is destroyed, there's wires everywhere, it just says the end of the Goblin, Spidey saves the day. Issue 40. I honestly think this is a really good cover, but not as good as issue 39, because it's not as memorable, in my opinion. I think it's an 8 out of 10. So it's got everything you want in a cover. Like, oh no, this has happened, this has happened. We want this. Oh, what's going to happen? How is Goblin going to get defeated? But I mean, in the cover in general, it does hook the viewers in, and it hooks, as in readers, not viewers, hooks the readers in, and I really love this cover, but not as much as issue 39. That's why it's an, what I say about, I'll change it to an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10. So yeah. Now, issue 41 is the first appearance of Rhino, and this cover cements the first appearance with Spider-Man. Looks like he's helpless, he's on the floor, he's saying help, while Rhino's destroying like a brick wall, and this just shows strength and how. And it's like, why is there a guy in a Rhino suit? But I mean, like, I don't personally like Rhino as a villain. Don't enjoy it that much. I don't enjoy the character that much. But this does show how powerful he is just by the cover. He's saying he can destroy through a wall. So if he can destroy through a wall, what else can he do? He can probably like, hurt Spider-Man immensely, which doesn't look like he's hurt him that much, but and just looks like he's helpless. It says the horns of the rhino. It really stands out. It does make you feel a little bit 3D. Issue 41. I think this one's also got the first appearance of Mary Jane. In like the last few panels and on the last page. But I would just say it's a very powerful cover. A very powerful cover. I would say it's simple but powerful. I would say 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for Amazing Spider-Man number 41. Issue 42 shows Spider-Man fighting, I think it's J. Jonah Jameson's son. It says the birth of a superhero. It's very action-packed for a cover. I didn't enjoy the story, but we're not talking about the story. We're talking about the cover. The cover is fine enough. It's I love the punch where it shows like the white, like probably in cartoons where like when someone punches, you can still see like the force of the punch. It's got some like flashes when it hits Spider-Man. Spider-Man looks like he's going to get defeated. There's broken glass. It does look a bit unordinary. Not unordinary. It looks a bit weird, like the cover. I don't know if it's supposed to be like where near like where NASA is or anything, because I think J. Jonah Jameson's an astronaut. J. Jonah Jameson's son's an astronaut, so that's it. You got all the yellow colours in it, the red. There's not that much to talk about in this cover. It literally speaks to itself. It's clear of what it's trying to say, but not at the same time. So in my opinion, it's a 4 out of 10. next one is issue 43, which is December. This one's another Rhino issue. I just got confused why there's issue 42 doesn't have Rhino in it, but issue 43 suddenly has Rhino in it again. Very powerful cover. Not an action-based one. I don't think it's as like powerful or memorable because it's not. It's just like an action scene mainly as a cover. It does stand out. It does give it qualities, but not that much qualities in my opinion. Rhino on a rampage. You see the cracks, you know, how strong he is. It's the same as like issue 41, but more action packed. And like Spider-Man's actually fighting the Rhino, but he does look a little bit more helpless. He looks a bit weak because Rhino's just like hitting him, swinging him on his horn to show how much power he is. And people in the background are shocked and scared of what's going on. So not a powerful one. I would give it an average 5 out of 10. This one is issue 44, and this is the a Lizard issue. So it shows Spider-Man shooting his webs at Lizard, and Lizard's trying to avoid them. And Lizard's he's in the sewers, like he always is. His work whilst the Lizard. He's trying to attack Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's trying to get webbing on him, and he looks like he's breaking free. There's not that much to talk about. It's an average cover. I don't know if it's an average. I would say a 4 out of 10. It's not a very impressive cover in my opinion because you've just got Lizard and Spider-Man and you've got a rubbish, like, not that much of a good background, which is just sewer with like water coming out of one of the holes and it's leading up to a stream. So not that good. Where Crawls the Lizard is issue 44. It's a 4 out of 10. So this is issue 45. Issue 45 is way better than issue 44 in my opinion. The cover. It's got a yellowy background. Lizard and Spider-Man. Spider-Man looks weak and helpless because I think he's broke his arm. So he's got like an arm thing on. I don't remember what it's called. It says Spidey smashes out. There's like the Lizard's taunting him. It's a good cover. It's a nice cover. I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's a decent, really good cover for me. So 7 out of 10 for the main Spider-Man number 45. And then we're going on to number 46, which is about the Shocker. So in this one, the Shocker is destroying columns and Spider-Man's trying to dodge his blasts. It says the Sinister Shocker, which I do like that alliteration. It's a decent cover like the other one. I would say it's a bit less though than the other one. I would say, because I gave the other one a 7, 6 out of 10 for number 46 of the Shocker. So, and then we got on to number 47, which is about Kraven the Hunter. Now, issue 47 has got Kraven the Hunter as like the centerpiece. He's a massive he's absolutely massive. He covers the whole page. And you've got mini Spider-Man around him, about 5 mini Spider-Man, just like some of them's web slinging, some of them's hanging, some of them's just sitting down. And then you've got Kraven the Hunter's got a net and it says, "Would you believe it, Kraven the Hunter?" It's a white background. I don't like it as much as some other people. I know people who do like this cover. I will give it a 4 out of 10 because I don't mind simplicity, but I think it's too simple. So that's why I think Kraven the Hunter in this issue of 47 in April, it's a semi-decent cover. However, I remember now it's got a Spider-Man logo on the bottom where he's stood on. So it's like it's got a merge of red and white and blue and yellow. It's all over the place, kinda. But I mean, it's a 4 out of 10. I'm gonna leave it 4 out of 10. Number 48, which has buildings and cars, obviously, but like skyscrapers. Vulture's trying to hunt down Spider-Man. So what happens? Vulture's trying to chase Spider-Man. Spider-Man's just looked the other way and went, "Oh no, there's the Vulture." It says the Vulture's back. Spidey's got him. It's like danger, danger, danger. I do like this cover because the way the Vulture is. I like the Vulture design in these 2 issues. I love the busyness and the streets and the main Spider-Man being red and the red logo, the main Spider-Man, which I think is like the main one, like it always should be red. You've got some red and blue. It's not that much to look at. It's a good cover. It works for what it wants. So 6 out of 10. It works for what it wants. It's got the nice green in there, in the Vulture's suit. It does look like he is like the predator, so it just looked menacing. So it's gone to 49. Number 49 has Vulture and Kraven the Hunter teaming up. I think this is the first villain team up in Amazing Spider-Man, that, if you don't include the annuals. I think, and this has Vulture just about to fight Spider-Man, and Kraven the Hunter has grabbed Spider-Man and he's choking him, and Vulture's punched Spider-Man while he's choking and says, "You name it, this one's got it." It's so much danger, so much presence in this. It's more action based. I like this cover way more. It shows two villains who want to kill Spider-Man and they're both working together. It's like, because they were part of the Sinister Six and there's only two of them now and they know each other. And the Vulture looks more like what he does in the 60s TV show. So you've got that. You've got Kraven the Hunter. You know he was in it because he was in issue 47. So he came back for this issue, to help Vulture. And it's like more of a jungle-ish thing, where there's like branches with trees and massive logs. I think they are in the park or somewhere. I would say it's a decent cover. I would say it's a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Now this one is the most iconic cover throughout all these issues, in my opinion, that we're going to cover today in this video, from the 1960s. I think this is close first or close second to people. I think Amazing Fantasy is number one that people all know about, but this is like top 3 like most famous covers. And this one is issue 50, of course. In my opinion, it's a 10 out of 10 cover. I love the redness. I love how it says Spider-Man no more. You've got Spider-Man's figure behind Peter Parker, big, and they're both going their own separate ways. Love the red Spiron and all the bright colours of like the yellowy orangey tint, like flashing off Spider-Man while red's going towards him in the darkness. It doesn't have, and I love how there's not that much speech bubbles, which would have ruined it if there was like so many popping up every single like side of the cover, but there was just one small, it says Spider-Man no more, which is the title of the issue. To be honest, the issue in general, I didn't like the story of that much, but the cover is great. It's a 10 out of 10. I love this cover. This cover is one of the best covers you could get. One of the Spider-Man number 50. I would frame it. I would frame this cover if it needs to be framed. I love this cover so damn much. I really do. And I love how it gets adapted to the Spider-Man 2 movie too. But I mean, great cover. It's got the right amount of colours in it. It tells you everything just by the image. Just tells you the whole story, saying he's going to quit being Spider-Man. People are going to contradict. People are going, "Oh no, is this the end of Spider-Man? Does he not die? He retires. Can he retire? What's going to happen before this?" And it's the first appearance of Kingpin. But all these questions are just on this one lovely cover. This is such a good cover. This is 10 out of 10. Number 51, in my opinion, is one of the worst covers. This has got Kingpin and his henchmen going around Spider-Man. Spider-Man's helpless, in the clutches of the Kingpin. I don't really enjoy Kingpin as a villain in the comics, especially like in the 60s. He was a bit boring in it. I used to, like, they're the worst issues I used to read. This cover stands out a little bit. Like, it tells you what it needs to do. It tells you what it is. It tells you what's going to happen. It's what a cover basically does. So in my opinion, it's a 3 out of 10. Even though people think it looks better than some other covers that have ranked higher, in my opinion, just the villain lacks. But I mean, I love the dark background, the yellow tint around the characters, with Spider-Man being in the middle. But in my opinion, for 3 out of 10. However, this cover is higher than 3 out of 10. It's issue 52, To Die a Hero. This one's got Spider-Man in chains, or in... Yeah, I was saying chains. And J. Jonah Jameson's right behind him. And J. Jonah Jameson's absolutely terrified. And they're both enemies. So it's like helping my enemy to defeat my own enemy. And what's going to happen, like, How did J. Jonah Jameson get in this predicament? Probably was told in issue 51. How they're going to get out of it with the water flooding up, and it looks like they're probably trapped in like I don't know what it's called. I think they're trapped in like somewhere that's like it's obviously enclosed, but I don't know where. I don't know what it's called, but it looks like there's like barely any way to get out. The Spider-Man's chained, so he can't get out. It might be too powerful for him. I love how this one's more of a, oh no, they're definitely going to die in this cover. There's no hope in this cover. There's no like, oh, he's getting out alive in this cover. This cover just looks like he's going to die in this cover, in this issue. So it's a 5 out of 10, average cover. But I mean, I just love the phrase "to die a hero." Just cement that he might die in this issue. Of course he doesn't, but it just cemented a lot. So it goes on to issue 53, which is where it shows the next appearance of Dr. Octopus. So Spider-Man's tangled in Dr. Octopus's arms, and he's trying to get free. Look who's back, Doc Ock, enough said. That's Stan Lee. It looks like Spider-Man's trying to get out. He's just forcing himself out, and Doc Ock is going, I win. But it doesn't cement that much. I think it's better than the other covers. It's a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 is average for this cover. Can't think what else I could describe about it. It just got buildings. It's just the same as Young like Distressed. So issue 53 is still, it's average color, 5 out of 10. However, issue 54 is a way better cover, and it shows more. It tells you more. Doc Ock's leaving, and the building's getting collapsed. It looks like it is Aunt May's house. You've got a bed on the right. You got Spider-Man being angry. He's fisting his fist. He's like, "How dare you!" And he's got on his other hand, he's got Aunt May, dead. It looks like she's dead, in his arms, and he's absolutely angry. I think this cements a lot. It shows like back in the other issue where it says Aunt May's on a deathbed. This one, it says, "Is Aunt May dead for sure? The tentacles and the trap" is probably the title. I love the title. Is Aunt May dead? What's happened? Is she going to be alive again? What's going to happen if she does die? Why is Doc Ock escaping? But I mean, it's a 6 out of 10, this one. I just love the colours in this. I love it's more peril. Like, oh no, what's going to happen? Yellow flaws. Can't say that much to describe it. It's just a very powerful cover, and that's why it's a 5 out of 10. This one has to be one of the top tiers. I would give this a 9 out of 10 because I love this cover so much. It says Doc Ock wins, and it has Dr. Octopus. His face is covering the whole cover with his teeth, and then you see in his reflection of his glasses is Spider-Man getting tangled in by Doc Ock's arms. I know it looks a lot similar to 53, I mean, but it's just how they framed it and how the cover is shown, how I love it so much compared to issue 53, how it's in Spidey's eyes than what Spidey looks at him, and that's what he sees. So in Spider-Man's like perspective, POV, and he's angry, and he's menacing, and he's sinister, and he wants to kill him so much, you can just tell by his facial expression. This is either 9 or a 10, I don't know. I might switch this, but I'm unsure. But it's very high 9, or it's a 10, so it's either one. So let's get to number 56, which starts the next year, and it's Spider-Man and Doc Ock join together, they're teaming up. Now, this one's so odd compared to the other 3 issues where they were fighting against each other. This one says, "Superhero turns bad." Love the newspaper right behind them. It says the Daily Bugle. You can see it's got something to do with J. Jonah Jameson. It says, "Is this a warm-up? Spidey finally disaster?" Spider-Man and Doc Ock's teaming up. Why are they teaming up? What's the point? They were fighting earlier in the last issue. Why are they teaming up now? I love the yellow coming, just like stunning out of the back, just behind the newspaper. It cements it a bit more. It's a 6 out of 10, and I just love the colours, how it's splashing onto the screen, splashing onto the cover, and you've got yellows, reds, blues, whites. it's just a gorgeous cover. That's why it's a 6 out of 10. The next issue is issue 57. Issue 57 is got a very unique cover. It's the power of Kazar. I think Kazar is another hero from somewhere else, like another Marvel hero that just came out. But I think he's like a villain first, then a hero, like another villain, like another character who's in one of the other covers, one of the last covers we're gonna rank. And so Spider-Man, and he's jumping into peril, and you've got Kazar, which is a white blonde man with his shirt off, trying to punch him while he's got his pet, which is a saber-toothed tiger, just about to kill Spider-Man, and it has a yellow billboard that says, "Never forget it" or something like that. It's the power of Kazar. It's very like, I like how it's just powerful. It's different. I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's so different, powerful. Two of them coming at both angles. You don't know who these are unless you've read the comics. You probably haven't. This is probably the first appearance. I don't know, but it's a very out of the world cover, and that's why it's a 7 out of 10. The next one is issue 58, and in issue 58, you have the cover of the Spider Slayer. I think he's called. Yeah, the Spider Slayer's back. And J. Jonah Jameson's got a new suit, and it's like a massive robotic strong suit, or whatever it's called. It says "To Kill a Spider-Man." Look who's back. So this is the second time J. Jonah Jameson is just about fight Spider-Man. I love how it's getting ripped open. You've got red background to symbolize danger. You've got how strong he is, showing his strength by like the rip of the boards. I just love the To Kill a Spider-Man, which I think is the title. This one's not as good as the original one in my opinion, but an 8 out of 10 because of how strong, powerful, intimidating it is. I love J. Jonah Jameson keep fighting Spider-Man with these different Spider Slayer ones. I really do like this little storyline they keep having. So this is the second appearance of the Spider Slayer, I think, but I really like this cover because it pops out straight on. So issue 58 is a 7 out of 10. Issue 59 is a 5 out of 10. No. A 3 out of 10. I don't really like it. It's got a half. I like the bit where half of it is Mary Jane and how she's dancing and how, because I think she wants to be an actress and she's not an actress yet, but I mean, she's dancing on stage. Everyone's seen her from the background, but then you've got literally like how they go underneath the curtain. On the other side of the curtain, you've got Spider-Man fighting these two gangsters. It says the brand of the brainwasher. I don't know who the brainwasher is. I think he's a villain. Of course, he is. Issue 59. It's a 3 out of 10 just because I do like the half bit where Mary Jane with the comedy thing because it's a bit different. But I don't like the other bit of the cover because it looks a bit bland. But I think that's it's going for dark colours and light colours, and that's what I like about the contrast in the dark and light colours. But it's a 3 out of 10. Issue 59. Issue 60 is a bit better, in my opinion, for a Kingpin cover. So this one, in my opinion, is a 6 out of 10 because you've got Spider-Man getting flung by the Kingpin, shows his strength, shows how angry it is, and I love, as again, the cartoon swoosh they have in it. Oh, bitter victory. So simple, so effective. Kingpin's so angry, he's probably going to kill Spider-Man by just grabbing his legs and just like hitting him like a hammer. Shows how intimidating he is. I love the dark black background, so you don't know where you are, you don't know where he is, and you don't know when this is going to take place, but you know it's going to be within the issue somehow. And I love how this definitely gets the readers in, gets my attention. So 6 out of 10 for issue 60. This issue is issue 61, and it's like it's a way more action one. It reminds me of issue 30, and it has, I think it's the first appearance of Gwen Stacy and Captain Stacy, her dad, in a cover. And they're held hostage, taped to a chair with sellotape around their mouth, while it looks like a cable has been snapped, and I don't know, it's like maybe like acid or something. Like it looks like a thing that's held in with that holds acid in it. That holds items like acid in it. And it looks like Spider-Man's trying to catch it, but I think he's going to miss. You've got the cartoon swooshes, you've got the yellow background, you've got rubber on the floor. It's not, in my opinion, a really good cover. It's a 4 out of 10. It shows danger, it shows excitement, it shows that they're going to be in the story, Gwen Stacy, Captain Stacy. It shows that is there going to be a Peter and Spider-Man dynamic about Gwen Stacy. So much danger. You would want to pick it up just for this cover, but it's a 4 out of 10 for me. I would pick it up, but then I'll go. It doesn't emerge me as much as the other ones, which I've meant more than 4 out of 10. Then the other issues. So issue 61 is a 4 out of 10. Issue 62 is a 6 out of 10. Just because it says the name. Actually, looking at it, 3 out of 10. It's one of the worst covers we've had. It's a white background. It's got Medusa. So something to do with the hair. She's standing on top of Spider-Man, trying to be menacing and more powerful, which is in the cover. And Spider-Man is useless. Literally, he's helpless. And he's got hair tangling to his arms. But it doesn't feel like he can't get out of it. This cover really feels like he could just easily get out of this. It's like, it's not a cover I would pick up. Like, I probably would have picked it up for the villain because I think this is the first time we see the villain. I think this is a only appearance or something. But instead of that, not really. Like, Spider-Man could have taken away, like, I don't know, cut scissors to her hair or something. But I mean, it doesn't feel like he could have got in this predicament like that. Like, he's got super strength. She's got hair that's tangling like some of his parts, like his hands and his chest, but really he should be able to take out of it by the worst things he's done. So this one, it's a 2 out of 10. Let's make it 2 out of 10. 62. So 63 shows Vulture and his protege, and it says Wings of the Night. I like this cover. It's a 7 out of 10. It's got lights. It's got like Showtime lights shine onto a Spider-Man emblem, and those two vultures. I think they're both scared. They're both flying different patterns. You can see one's a darker tone and the other one's got a lighter tone. I think it's to show that the vulture that we saw was not Adrian Toomes. It was the other guy. So I think this is the first return of Adrian Toomes coming back as the vulture. I like the dark background, so it's a show performance. It's 6 out of 10. Simple but effective. Alright, number 64 is just got Adrian Toomes fighting Spider-Man on the sky. So it's mainly a homage to issue 2 with the vulture's prey, where he's falling down after vulture's hitting him. And black and white. I wouldn't say it's a good cover in my opinion. I think it's a 3 out of 10. Like, it doesn't hit as much high as issue 2 does with it. Like, it's just feels just like a carbon copy. So 3 out of 10 for number 64. And number 65 is where Spider-Man looks like he's escaping from jail. Why is he in jail in the first place? That's the first question. Second question, how is he going to escape from jail? Is there going to be a big supervillain in jail? Is that why he tries to get himself into it? He says escape? Impossible. It has so many questions. I would pick it up, even though it's simple. I would pick it up just for, like, why is he in jail? And it shows Spider-Man climb up the walls, running away from those of the police guards. I would say 5 out of 10. It's a good average. 5 out of 10 for number 65. Number 66, I think, is a 5 out of 10 in general. It shows Spider-Man on one web, and there's fog in the background, and it introduces Mysterio in a really nice manner. I really like how he's pointing at Spider-Man. I love how it's based. You can see it from the 60s animated series has based it on their own comics. And I love how it's like more mysterious, like he got his name, The Madness of Mysterio, all fog machines because he's an actor, everything. And this is when like Spider-Man goes into like this fun fair land or somewhere that Mysterio has taken him prisoner. But this just makes it, even though it's a bit plain, I think it's a really nice cover. So in my opinion, it's a 5 out of 10. It's not as good as the next issue that's going to come out, the next cover, but it's a decent one. It's 5 out of 10, which is fine enough. So 5 out of 10 for this nice cover. So let's go on to number 66. 7. Alright, number 67. I meant number 67. Number 67 has Spider-Man tiny in this fun fair place, Fairland thing, and Mysterio's got his 2 hands. He's just about to grab Spider-Man, but his hands are ginormous, absolutely massive, and you can see that it's like he's in Mysterio's world because it's like Alice in Wonderland or something, or like the Mad Hatter from Batman, where he he makes Batman small and he makes himself big or something like that. And you can see is it illusions? Is it no? I really like the cover. I really like the black and white aspect of it. I love the green merged with it, like the very dark green, the red and blue with Spider-Man's outfit. Everything's dark and depressing with them only being the colours because they're the main antagonist and protagonist. So I think for number 67, it's a 9 out of 10. I really, really like this cover. Yeah, I really like this cover because how menacing it is with his hands. Now to number 68, which is so this one is Crisis on Campus. I don't like this one that much. It's like with the activists, and this is the start of the tablet saga, where there's like this tablet that is up to the school, and loads of villains are trying to kidnap it, trying to take it because it's like a special thing it has. So this is the first part of the story. It's about 7-part issue, 8-part story. So this one's mainly like mostly Peter Parker. I think this issue, but I mean it's mainly about Peter Parker in this issue. But we're not looking at the story as I say. We're looking at the cover. The cover it's decent enough. Well, I keep saying that. I don't like it because it's just not my type of cover. You got Spider-Man swinging over, and then you got everyone. Got like the students. I got like oh, I've got the cardboard things and the sticks, so they've got like activists or something. So like a rally. The college is having a rally because I think it's a college, or is it a school? It's either one. It's like having a rally. And I think this is like a dynamic between the people and the police as well. So it's more of a relatable issue, this one, as compared to any others. I don't like it that much. For the cover, I'll give it an average of 5 out of 10 because it does show relatability. And then Spider-Man Web's thing on the white background with more people having the different colours to show like colours, I think. But I mean, it's a 5 out of 10. It's average. So the next issue is issue 69, and that's with the Kingpin. And he's grabbed Spider-Man, and he's not letting Spider-Man go. He's got angry face on. He's going about to crush Spider-Man's hand. And it says, "Mission, crush the Kingpin." And it looks like Spider-Man's getting crushed by the Kingpin with his hand. Oh, there's dark in the black background like they did in like number 53 or 52. And then they also had this stunning like yellow brightness to show like there's maybe a break for hope because he might break his hand, but he's still got like others. But it shows his Kingpin's strength and how he can take on Spider-Man very, very easily. This is a 4 out of 10. I don't usually like the Kingpin issues because there's not that much variety. It's just that either him standing on top of him or he's just punching him or something. It's not that really, and he's not that iconic as a villain in my opinion. I don't really like Kingpin as a crime boss, but it's a 4 out of 10. It's 4 out of 10 for me. Number 70 is a little bit more iconic. This one's Spider-Man Wanted. This is where the police try and hunt Spider-Man down because he's got the tablet, I think he has. I think that's what's on his back. So this shows how he's wanted. There's yellow light sirens on yellow lights on Spider-Man to show like he's a outlaw or he's someone that they want to arrest. You've got the 3 policemen in blue, and show because the blue uniforms, the blue on red, on yellow, on red. But I mean, it shows how he's a little bit powerless, and it's like he doesn't really want to fight the police, but it looks like the police want to fight him. So he's on the run. So in this issue, it looks like Spider-Man's on the run. He doesn't know what to do. He can't go to anyone because the police will find him and everything. So it's just a very dangerous situation for him. I pick it as a 7 out of 10, this cover. It's a 7 out of 10. Alright, let's go into issue 71. Issue 71 is a very different cover. I like it. It's an 8 out of 10. So it says, "And now Quicksilver." So it has Quicksilver from the X-Men. They're fighting Spider-Man, and because he's got super speed, it shows about 5 variations of him at the same time, going around him in 360 degrees, punching him, and you see like 4 punches. And he's bombarded with them. He can't do anything. He's in the middle. He's like Piggy in the middle. He'll get knocked out if he moves any time because he's the fastest man. It's like, how can Spider-Man beat the fastest man alive in the Marvel comics? How is he going to do it? What's going to happen? how can Spider-Man, it was a mutant, fight another mutant? Who's gonna win? Like this is people usually will pick up this cover because of Quicksilver. I understand why, because part of the X-Men or part of the Avengers. But I mean, I think it's an interesting cover. It's an 8 out of 10, but still, I would pick it up just to see what happens. But yeah, it's a 6 out of 10. So the next one is issue 72, and that's the one with Shocker in it. It shows Shocker blasting the signal for Spider-Man, and it says rocked by the Shocker, and it shows him hitting his beams at Spider-Man's logo. It's a very simplistic cover. It's obviously you can tell Shocker's the main villain in it because he's the cover, so it like symbolizes him fighting Spider-Man with the signal. 4 out of 10. I don't really like this cover because it's a bit too plain and it doesn't like fit to me. I think the story's really good in it. Not that bad, the story, but the cover, not really. 4 out of 10. It's definitely a 4 out of 10 for Spider-Man, for Rocked by the Shocker, which I think is the title of it anyway. So 4 out of 10 for issue 72. So for issue 73, it's got Man Mountain Marco, who's a new villain, which I think is he's only got a few issues, like 2 issues he's in. 2 issues he's in. The web closes and it shows Man Marco beating up Spider-Man. Looks like he's strong, powerful, intimidating. And this is when we finally find out in this issue, or the next issue, what the tablet is. But I mean, this is the start of like the second act. You would think the third act, but it's actually the second act. The start of the second act. This. The cover, it stands out to me. It's a 6 out of 10. Like, even though it's a white background, it still stands out intimidating. It tells what the story actually is by just the image. Doesn't tell you that much, doesn't spoil it for you. But I mean, it's a very in your face one to go, who's this person? We don't know who it is. Why is Spider-Man fighting him? Is this about the tablet? What's the tablet's real power? We don't know. All these questions that almost get answered in this one. So 6 out of 10 for 73. 74 is a 7 out of 10. I do like this cover. So this is, this show tells you the secret of the tablet and what the tablet actually is. And if you don't know, if you haven't read already, that's a bit of a spoiler. It's the Tablet of Youth. But what happens is there's this old guy, and this old guy is an old mob boss, and Man Mountain Marco is like his like bodyguard or his soldier. So when he gets defeated, I think he gets defeated in this episode. There's also Kurt Connors in this. Spider-Man fights gangsters, and then the old guy gets the Fountain of Youth and becomes strong again. So basically in this one, it's mainly that in the cover, I love the colour because you've got a nice blue background, then you've got a white shadow of the old guy drinking the potion, which is from the tablet, which he's holding, he's got that on the tablet. And Spider-Man's punching like 3 of his henchmen. But it's a very powerful cover because it's like, looks like, feels like time's running out, like he's already drinking it, what's going to happen, why is he drinking it, how much time does he have left? Like, instead of, like, it doesn't tell you time's run out, but it shows you that time's running out. So it looks like he's hurrying, he has to go somewhere, while it's just that he gets the Fountain Youth anyway and something happens. But I mean, it looks like something big will happen at the end. That's why it says featuring, and then in massive red lights, there's the secret of the petrified tablet. So this one, it's a 7 out of 10. That's a very unique cover. 75 is an 8 out of 10. This cover is such a dark cover for Marvel, for Spider-Man. Death without warning. You get Spider-Man's one of the most iconic poses, which is him backing away with his hand in his face. So he's absolutely devastated what happened, and there's a dead body just laid on the floor while he's walking away. It's so dark. You've got the window, which shows a reflection of him walking out, so it looks like he might be committing suicide, but obviously it's not. But there's like suicidal tendencies. It's all a dark black background. Everything's black and white except the people, which is like grey, brown, red, and blue. and it makes them stand out the most. It's so emotional. I really love this cover, and I wanted to pick it up after seeing this cover. This attracted me to the issue, and this told so much about the story without anyone knowing it told so much about the story, because this is literally what happens in the story where the guy dies, but it happens so breathtaking. It's not. I don't think it's as emotional as the cover seems to be, but it is very, very It's a little bit emotional, and you can tell how dark it is. Just that it's only like, was it 2 pages, which shows it's just dark in this issue, but this cover makes it seem that all the issues dark. So you've got that for one, and it also begins the third act, which is from issue 76, which is called The Lizard Lives. So this one, it's a casual one. You got Lizard fighting Spider-Man. Spider-Man's falling off the rooftop. So like a Vulture one, but instead of Lizard being in the air, he's just scaling the building. And they're having a duel. Well, not having a duel, they haven't got swords. They're having a fight. Spider-Man is falling down in the traffic below it to show danger. It doesn't stand out that much. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. It's just meh. It's there. It's an impactful cover. I'll pick it up to see what happens, but I wouldn't say, oh, I picked it up because the cover was so amazing. So issue 76 is 4 out of 10. Issue 77, which is the conclusion of the tablet saga, is got, yes, as you guessed it, Johnny Blaze, I think he's called, Human Torch. Yes, Human Torch is the only Fantastic Four member who's literally in Spider-Man 1 except the first issue. Yes, he's basically the only one that comes up in the 60s still. However, I think the difference between this appearance and the other appearance of Human Torch is he didn't come in like the next 5 issues. Like, what? This was like 20, 30 issues later than his last appearance, so it's more of a fresh, broad appearance. So it's a nice surprise than they're doing that again just because of more money and to put more excitement in it, and to show like the Lizard. And I really like this cover because it shows that Spider-Man's trying to stop Johnny Blaze from hurting Dr. Connors / Lizard because of Dr. Connors, his friend. So Spider-Man's in that bit of a predicament, but then Lizard's trying to kill both of them. So yeah. He's in a weird mindset where he doesn't know what he's doing. So he's stopping Human Torch. So it looks like, first off, when I looked at this, I thought it was Spider-Man was fighting the Human Torch because he was going to fight him again, and the Lizard was just there. But after reading the comic, I understand what it actually is, the cover. So it's a nice cover. It's got like a river scene, a boat scene, kind of aesthetic. It's a 5 out of 10. It's an average. Yeah, it's an average. And that finishes off the tablet saga. Now, the final two that I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to rank them all after, is issue 78, which is the origins of the Prowler, who is very famous and popular right now in the modern age. And it came out in 1969, issue 78 in November. And this cover is an 8 out of 10. I love the Prowler in this issue. I love the Prowler in mainly the 60s and 70s they do him in. I think it's a really nice character. I think he does get a bit boring later on, but I mean, he's a very nice, good character in these. Like, we find out the identity of who he is in issue 79, but for now, he's like a mystery. Who is the Prowler? What is he doing? Why has he got all this technology? Like, technical advancements, like Spider-Man. But instead of web slingers, he has blasters. But I mean, I love the costume the Prowler has. Actually, no, not 8 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I love the costume, and I love how Spider-Man's cornered. Spider-Man's got nowhere to go. There's a wall on one end, and there's nothing on the other, but he looks powerless. He looks like he's met his match again. But I mean, I really, really love this cover. I like it more than the next cover, but next cover's still a good cover. So, the Prowler, I love his outfit, and I love how he still has the razor claws, but he doesn't see it in this one that much. But he does get his razor claws like next time. And in the other issues he's in, he does scrape the wall, so he does have his razor claws. But for now, the Prowler, the Night of the Prowler, I love the title. and I love the cover. The final final cover we'll talk about is the one that came out in December 1969, issue 79, called "To Prowl No More," and it has the Prowler, J. Jonah Jameson, and Peter Parker getting falling out of the window, and not as in Peter Parker as in Spider-Man, as in Peter Parker. So he's got just do it his powers, but he probably hasn't got his web slingers with him, and he won't gonna do it after J. Jonah Jameson seeing him. And this takes place straight after 78, and I think this panel literally takes place literally after the last panel. So it's like a panel. It's like the cover is the next panel. And it shows danger, it shows what is he going to do, why is it like that. It's so simple but so dramatic at the same time. And I really like this cover. This is definitely an 8 out of 10. I love how it doesn't show the buildings or anything, so it's like small skyscrapers, show that it's really high. The Prowler, he's just looking at him. J. Jonah Jameson's absolutely godsnap because he doesn't know that Peter Parker's Spiderman yet. And he's just seen that as one of his best employees is getting flown out the window. He doesn't know what he's doing. And Spider-Man's worried as well, Peter Parker, who's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do that or that, or am I going to just die? And the audience would think, is he dying? Is he going to die? I don't know. And they would want to pick it up. I would mainly pick it up because it shows the unmasked of the Prowler and who he really is. Which I think is one of Peter's friends. But I mean, I picked it up because of the cover, but after reading it, I went, I just should have picked it up, even if it was a shit cover. I should really pick it up again anyway, because it's the unmasked of, because it's the Prowler being unmasked. These two issues, 78 and 79, are one of the best stories in the 60s, in my opinion. I really, really enjoyed them. I enjoyed them more than the Tablet Saga, because I think it did go boring, the Tablet Saga, later on. Like, it dragged after issue 75. I think it dragged after issue 75, after Death Without Warning. I think they should have just stopped it there, and that was in, just didn't add Connors in it. But I mean, this one, love the cover, not as much as the last one, but it's such a great cover. Now we're going to do the ranking of covers, so like, comment, and subscribe. This took a long time making. And these are my rankings from number 79 to number 1 of the best Amazing Spider-Man covers from 1963 to 1969, including Amazing Fantasy 15. So 80 covers. So from 80 to number 1, this is my ranking. For the top 10 best Spider-Man covers from the 60s, number 10 is Spider-Man getting stuck by rubble in issue 33. Spider-Man getting attacked by an alien and Spider-Man getting attacked by a robot in issue 37. Mysterio's massive hands in issue 67. Spider-Man fighting the Prowler in issue 78. Cover where we see through the eyes of Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus in issue 55. Spider-Man getting unmasked by Dr. Octopus in issue 12. In issue 15, the first appearance of Kraven the Hunter. In issue 39, Green Goblin's gliding up in the air while taking Spider-Man as prisoner. Issue 9 is the first shocking appearance of Electro, where Spider-Man gets electrocuted. Issue 50, where Spider-Man walks away from the mantle of being Spider-Man forever. Or is it?